Hello, and welcome back to part 3 of the lessons that I learned in 2025 and the intentions I'm taking forward into 2026. Number 7 of this long series. I want you to notice. I want you to notice what you're doing and who you're being. So, a few things that you can track and bring your attention to. How are you spending your time? The activities that you're doing, that you're participating in, your words, your actions, the speed in which you're doing things, your excuses, the lies that you're telling yourself, when you feel in alignment and when you absolutely don't. I think it's so easy, especially because the world is so overstimulating, to sometimes just kind of shut down a little bit and just go through the motions and keep doing the same things again and again because it's familiar, because our brain recognizes it and somehow it feels safe, even if it isn't, or even if it isn't something that you want to do. I want you to really hold those intentions for yourself in 2026 with the time, the focus, and the reverence that they deserve. And so I want you to pay attention to yourself and see what you are doing. I remember those moments where I would have those big jumps with my kids. Or if we were going through a really hard period of parenting, which inevitably most people go through, I think. If there's like your kids really like going through a bad stage of, I don't know, behavior, even though, that's very much part of life, isn't it? Or their sleep is off, or they just don't seem themselves, or their food is like they're only going back to 3 foods. Like sometimes we've had those moments as parents where it's like, all right, something needs to change, something needs to shift. And that's when I feel like I turn up the dial and I begin to investigate. I really notice I am detecting things. Okay, so when I do that, that happens. They don't like this. So, okay, and then what's the timing? And oh, maybe if we did that 20 minutes earlier, that might, like, there's all those pieces. We can do that in our own lives whenever we want. If you are not being and achieving that version of yourself, it's time to look at what's happening, because there will be so many parts of evidence, so many clues that you can tap into and utilize that are right there in front of you. And I don't want you to approach it with shame and guilt and like, oh gosh, I always do this, and like, oh, I'm always getting it wrong. Give yourself that grace. When we do this with children, I am never like, I can't believe that you didn't sleep through the night again. It's like, all right, here we go again. Let's see if we can fix this. I mean, in our house, like neither of my children slept till they were 3.5. So sleeping isn't a great example. But I had to every single night in those tough years approach it with that same curiosity. I mean, tired curiosity, but curiosity all the same. Number 8, I want you to be aware and notice your progress that you're making. And I want you to be honest about the gap between where you are right now and where you actually want to get to. So this could be the goal, the intention, the version of you that is. It can be easy to just keep setting bigger goals. So when people say, for example, say they set a goal where they're going to go to the gym for 20 minutes today, and they don't go. It doesn't happen, or excuses happen, or whatever reason, it doesn't happen. And instead of, say, at 3 o'clock going, it's only 20 minutes, right, I'm going to go. I could actually do this right now. They will say instead, okay, I'm not going to go today, and tomorrow I'm going to do 2 hours to make up for it. So suddenly what they've done is they've jumped to the bigger goal and assume that that's all going to magically happen and come together, when instead what they should do or could do is to explore why the first goal didn't happen and get really honest about what's going on. And sometimes that can be as simple as, wow, I really listened to my excuses, or I'm not very organized at the moment. I didn't make it a priority. I put 32 things on my to-do list today, and I don't know why, because realistically, I can only get 6 done because I've only got 2 hours of free time. Whatever it might be, you are going to learn so much more through understanding yourself rather than just setting a bigger goal. Yes, the bigger goal, when you talk about it, might sound more impressive to people, like, wow, she's going to go to the gym for 2 hours tomorrow. That's pretty cool. I mean, or is it? I don't know. I'm not saying that. But I want you to notice your progress. Notice what you're saying. Because we can all talk all day about all the things we're going to do. But we want results in 2026. So we have to get to know ourselves. Number 9, I want you to seek out the evidence. It is so easy to listen to that part of your brain. Your brain, ultimately, its job is to keep you safe, keep you alive, keep you in familiar settings, keep you comfortable. And whenever we do something, and I'm going to talk like soul here, like whenever you make moves from that intuition instinct thing, your brain's like, whoa, what? What are we doing? What's going on? No. I don't like this. We've never done this before. Or actually, we did do something similar to this and it didn't work out. So let me just talk about that. And sometimes it's that moment where it's like, even though we're in 2026, your brain will spit out a story from 1996. Like, let me just tell you why it's not going to happen, because it didn't happen in 1996. So it's probably not going to happen in 2026. I mean, your brain is such a liar. It really is. Your brain is not giving you space for growth that you need. And so we have to actively turn down the volume on the I can't, you shouldn't, who are you, all of that junk, and turn up the volume on the evidence. So you can go and seek this out. You don't need to have known people who do this. They're out there in the internet. Anything you want to do, somebody will have created a YouTube video. They'll be sharing their journey on a podcast. There might be a documentary on the TV. Maybe there's a book that's been written. Maybe it's time to get in touch with your auntie's best friend's daughter who has done that very thing that you want to do. You have to move. Seek out that evidence, find it, like snuffle around looking for it, because sometimes our immediate circle is telling us no, or it's showing us nothing, like they can't help us, or what we have in our environment right now is not going to move us forward. So instead of just staying there in the center of that and going, well, no, nothing I can do, it's time to take a step out of it. Because when you actively go and find those people and ask your questions, and ask really good ones, by the way, that's when you're going to make progress. Also, the more specific you can be with the evidence that you need, the information that you require, the questions that you have, the better. Number 10. This is the final part of part 3. I want you to take it seriously, whatever your plans are. And I know sometimes this creates a bit of resistance, let's say. When I was at sixth form college, not many of my friends were talking about how exciting and interesting and enriching it was to be studying for our A-levels. All the good stuff was happening in the common room and in the pub and where at somebody else's house. And I really bought into that. And for a time, I got a bit distracted, you know? I mean, I don't need to go into all of the things. But what I have realized ultimately in my core, I'm a super geek, and I am somebody that doesn't want to half step things. I'm not somebody who wants to just sit around moaning all day. I want to do something, and I've got ideas, and I want to make them happen, and I've got big dreams, and I've got a lot of fire in me. I've got a lot of skills. I've got a lot of things that I can do and contribute. And so I don't just want to stay in that place. Also, in order to make a change or to create an impact or to build a habit, it's not going to happen by accident. It will require your focus, your attention, maybe your money. It will require discipline. It will require you showing up when it's hard or you don't feel like it or it's a bit rainy outside. It's going to require that version of you. And I also want to say that there's never going to be a perfect time. So even if you're telling yourself, oh, I'll wait until Monday, or I always like to start on the 1st of the month and I'm recording this on the 2nd of January, so I'll wait till February. February is probably not going to feel that much different. And so I want you to embrace the super geek. Do you have to be like this for the rest of your life? Absolutely not. Going back to what I said earlier about working seasonally, I am a big believer in that. So I have now set up my life where during term time, I've essentially got my head down and I'm working and I'm doing all the things and I'm kind of running my life on school time terms. And I do that with exercise, with food, with the discipline for my work and my consistency. And in the holidays, I can slightly ease off and have more fun and adventures and spontaneity and all of that because I've found that rhythm within myself. I am not saying that we all have to have the dedication and focus of an Olympic athlete. Everybody is different. We all have our different goals and dreams. What I am inviting you to do is to look at where you are not fulfilling your own potential, where you're not stepping into the version of yourself that you know that you're capable of, the version of yourself that you know is desperately trying to come through, but you keep squashing it down. This is the end of part 3. Come back for part 4, where we're going to be talking a lot more about money. If you want help, one-on-one support, if you want to have a chat with me, if you've got ideas, or if you know you need something but you don't know what you need, send me a message. Let's book some time in and I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.